Ready?
Yeah.
Go.
The Life of a Kenyan. Kenya Revised Edition, 1938. Andrew Jerome and Autumn Royer.
During the 20th century, Kenya became Britain's most attractive colony. During the slave trade and suppression of the Kenyan people, Kenya still maintained its colorful background. Since 1895, Kenya has been represented as a protectorate, which was proclaimed as a crown colony under the name of the Kenya Colony. The name Kenya was first formed from Mount Kenya, the highest mountain in the colony. Their colony was filled with vigorous life, pride in achievement, and a strong belief in its future. Throughout this video, we will demonstrate how life in Kenyan society consisted of trade, administration, social life, religious institutions, agriculture, transport systems from the Indian Ocean to the center of Africa, and education throughout colonization and through gaining their independence.
Beginning with Vasco da Gama entering the Mombasa harbor in 1498, East Africa was very susceptible to invaders. During this time period, expansion and colonization were key goals of every big civilization. Neighboring societies such as the Arabs, Egyptians, Chinese, Persians, and Portuguese all had this goal of expansion in their plans. With many civilizations all fighting for the same goal, World War I broke out. The British, who happened to be one of the strongest, more established societies at the time, ended up capitalizing on this. In 1823, the British achieved this goal and ended up turning the old African empire into hunting land that would be used to harvest supplies for slaves. What was once known as East Africa now became known as the British East Africa.
The settlers who would originally start to settle down there consisted of sportsmen, traders, and prospectors who fell in love with the country and its potential. They soon began to build their homes, plant crops, as well as starting to raise livestock. With the balance of these factors, we will begin to discover the daily lives of Kenyan settlers and the ups and downs of them settling on Kenyan grounds. Life in Kenya was built off the foundation of prior African traditions along with British ruling. Social life also played a big factor in Kenyans' daily lives, as it was critical to their development as a race and empire. Even while facing the possibility of a foreign threat, Kenya was able to continue to prosper.
Kenyan colonies began to be established and fortified around the 1920s by the British Empire. This led to British dominance throughout the Indian Ocean coast towards western Kenya. Britain's colonial expansion continued at a rapid pace, which was met with native opposal. Native Kenyans wanted to establish their own control and tried refusing British rule. As a result, Britain took a strong grip on Kenya, as Kenya was important to the British Empire as it displayed their dominance in their competition with other European powers looking to colonize. One way the British tried to tighten their control was with religion. Natives had long practiced pageantry along with Islam. In order to push British colonial influence, many Christian mission stations were established to try and convert and unify the natives. In Vihiga, a colony within British-ruled Kenya,
Keep going. Keep talking.
Politics were used to try and keep access of the land and its use. Land was highly politicized and fought for, and as a result, it caused a lot of issues in Kenya. Political, economic, and social trends and religions where European settlements was prevalent ultimately led to war between Vihiga and the British Empire. The war was a major international factor in shaping Vihiga agricultural environment during the 1940s. The communities were coping with land. Is this coping? No. What? What word is that? That's not coping, because coping is with a U.
Coping.
I thought coping was with a U.
Mm.
Okay. With land degradation?
Degradation.
Degradation? Okay. And the war affected agriculture and labor supplies and was preventing soil erosion. The war caused an outbreak in Vihiga, forcing an intensive agricultural system which threatened the welfare of the land. The British government failed to find solutions to land degradation while crop production was increasing and relied on African labor to harvest the land. Officials were concerned about the wartime program on slowing down conservation efforts. Authorities in London only cared about economic interests in the colonial government. The NCA, National Construction Authority, led a resistance to fight for soil conservation. Locals made the situation even more complicated by not wanting to give up their jobs to conserve soil. A balance was set between compulsion and legislation to avoid making more work for farmers during the war.
Alright, we're gonna stop there.